Assalamu alaikum and welcome to this week's edition of Sisters Corner. We're really privileged today to have an esteemed guest with us, and we are also extra excited, well I am, because it's a live show and we are taking calls all throughout the show. So if you would like to ask any questions about anything we're talking about, please feel free, join us. We'll look forward to speaking with you. So I'd like to welcome Mohammed Akhlaq Rauf, who is here to talk to us about lots of different things, but particularly we're interested in talking to Akhlaq about his recent honour and dementia and growing old gracefully and with dignity in our Muslim South Asian communities as well. So welcome, Akhlaq.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum to you.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you.
Viewers.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm really excited to be in the honour of your honour. What do we call you when you have an MBE?
I wouldn't go that far.
Are you sure?
I'm still a mug.
Are you? Bless you.
So
Thank you very much. So do you just want to tell us a little bit about who you are? And
okay, so Mohammed Akhlaq Rauf, as you've said. I work part-time for the local authority in Bradford. Been managing some work on dementia with the South Asian communities. I'm also a part-time PhD student, and that's sort of a fairly new venture for the university in Bradford, which is called a doctoral training centre. And again, my research is going to be looking at South Asian carers of people with dementia. 3 kids at home, single parent, do lots of voluntary work, just Joe blogs really.
oh, I think you're anything but Joe blogs. And if all the Joe blogs were like you, would be sorted really as society.
Exactly.
Alhamdulillah, that's a good thing. So you've just quickly said you work for the local authority, and you're most synonymous, I think, with the Mary Yardeh project. Is that right? Which is a dementia.
Yeah. Well, I think again, most of my work, what I try and think about, whether it's paid employment or voluntary work, is, how do communities tick? What do you do that makes it practical? You can connect with people. So, what is it? Nearly 11 years ago now, in fact. We were going to be setting this piece of work up called Hidden Needs. Hidden Needs meaning that dementia is hidden in the South Asian communities.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, what will hidden needs mean to people? Because my own grandmother had dementia at a time when I was doing a master's degree, didn't know about dementia. It wasn't until after she'd died and then I'd got a job in the council that they'd started talking about dementia. I thought, well, actually, that's exactly what grandmother had. So I kind of made a personal commitment that it has to be something that means something to people, that we can connect. So we call it Mary Yardeh. So across the 5 South Asian languages, whether we talk Bangla, we talk Urdu, we talk Hindi, Gujarati, phonetically slightly different, but people generally understand what we're talking about. Mary Yardeh. So my memories.
Excellent. So we will talk much more about dementia as we go on with the programme, but I would really like to talk a little bit about your NBE. So you received that last week, was it?
Yeah.
So how did that come about? What did you receive it for?
Well, it's for services to people with dementia and their carers. Some soul somewhere probably thought, well, he's done some good work. And alhamdulillah, I think humility is a good thing. And it isn't about saying, look at me, what I do. But we started off very small here in Bradford. The council took the view that we need to try and get information right and services would follow, because usually people say services are there and people would come forward. And what we were finding is that because South Asian communities weren't accessing services, I felt information's key. So we worked on information, get the information right, raise awareness, talk to people, reach out to carers, and then the services would follow. And alhamdulillah, following from Mary Yardeh, other people up and down the country in various cities took an interest. They were interested in what we were doing in Bradford. So lo and behold, Leeds were then supported to try and set something up called Hamari Yardeh. And then Oldham Rochdale side were interested, and so they called theirs Purani Yardeh. And all this time I was saying, please don't call it Mary Yardeh, because Mary Yardeh has got a national recognition. And I think it's through that sort of work of trying to support other authorities, try and reach out to other communities, to national awards that we'd won for the work that we were doing. Lo and behold, then, in fact, it was the day after my birthday this year that a letter came through the post.
Your 21st birthday?
My 21st, actually it was 22nd, but I'll go that far. So, but it's an awesome feeling, because somebody somewhere has taken the time and the effort and the energy to recommend you to have a national recognition on a personal level. And then, you know, met the Queen last week, took my children down. So I hope it's, you know, going to be a memorable occasion for them to remember for the rest of their lives as well.
Yeah. I think it's an honour. Having said that, I do know, I mean, and congratulations and well done, you know, to get national recognition for work that's, you know, will have started off, because I know our local authorities work, will have started off almost like a little fringe project.
2-year project.
Yeah, exactly, you know, externally funded, a little bit of resource, and, you know, alhamdulillah, 10 years later, you're still doing it, and, you know, your reach is much further than the, you know, population in the city in which you live, which, you know, I think is amazing. And today your reach is international as well, you know, so and that's what we want, don't we? So, but I know there are some people who see it as a little bit controversial, you know, should you, shouldn't you, you know, are you becoming part of the establishment? Is it a bit too militaristic? Where do you stand on an MBE?
I think, you know, well, I have a master's in race relations from many a moon ago, and that was always about inequalities, and as part of inequalities, then, you know, the British Empire is almost synonymous with, you know, what went around the world. And so when I got the letter that said I was being honoured with a member of the British Empire, I thought, do I really want this? What would my friends think? Am I kind of selling my own principles to say, okay, I'll accept this honour? And I take a slightly different view in that, you know, for example, on a personal level, siblings of my grandparents were, you know, fighting in the Indian British Army. My mum's uncle was a prisoner of war in Japan. My late father-in-law, he was a prisoner of war in Japan. So these are people who actually fought for the, as we would then probably have said, king and country and then queen and country, is that, you know, we are part and parcel, and this is our country, and we need to make sure that, you know, our identity is quite strong. You know, we are British Muslims. Most of my friends, you know, if I talk to them when they, you know, go what our parents would call back home, you know, they'll say, oh, the British are here or the English are here, and when we're here, they sort of say, go home. So what's home? And this is home. Yeah,
absolutely. And I know, you know, there's been sort of high-profile people who've refused the accolade because of, well, very many reasons. And inshallah, we'll pick up some of that when we come back after the break. So, Assalamu alaikum, and see you in a few minutes.